Some days are good, and some days are bad, but one thing is for sure, Texas will survive just about any apocalypse. The meme state of Texas is known for a lot more than just the Alamo. Whether it be the annual hurricane or power outage, Texas is almost used to weird things. I dare say it could survive even a nuclear or zombie apocalypse, all without a complete breakdown of Texas society. Stay till the end to hear how you can survive an apocalypse, and feel free to like and subscribe to this video. You don't have to, but you can unsub at any time. To begin, Texas will not lose power like it did recently during an apocalypse. With at least 50% of all electricity generated by natural gas and oil, the energy grid won't be disrupted easily. The state produces more than enough oil without any imports to feed the power grid. And for better or for worse, it is completely isolated from the rest of the country's power grid. In an apocalyptic disaster on the east or west coast, the Texas power grid will continue running, despite what happened in February. A zombie apocalypse will begin in New York, California, or Florida in this scenario, and that will cause airports to start closing down. There is a vast distance between cities in Texas, which would give Texans more than enough time to gather supplies and protect the energy grid from zombies by fortifying key power plants, water supplies, and gun stores, and also hoarding the oil to blow up later. That assumes the wildlife doesn't get to them first. Texan wildlife includes 1.5 million feral hogs that are 250 pounds each, and they have up to 8-inch tusks that have a potentially lethal killing ability, and they can bite. So watch out, zombies. It would be easy to defend Texas from any zombie horde, even if they survived the 110-degree heat. We have the two largest military weapon facilities in the United States located here. Even Fort Worth and San Antonio were originally just military forts, and those forts still exist today. And every house in Texas is, in a way, a fort. The Castle Doctrine, the Motorist Protection Act, and the Open Carry Act make gun ownership in Texas extremely popular. More than 1 in 3 Texans own a gun. Texans might not be cowboys anymore, but we all could be if we had to. As for any apocalypse, medical supplies can make the difference between life and death. We no longer scrub dirt on a wound and walk it off. Texas hosts the largest medical center in the entire world. Almost 9 universities provide 9 major branches of biomedical engineering and medical technology to the state's economy. That isn't 9 schools, that's 9 branches of schools. And I'd estimate there are at least 50 medical schools in Texas alone. But I'm not an expert. Despite easy access to medical staff, that doesn't make Texas self-sufficient in medicine. This is where the huge distances work against Texas. In case of the zombie apocalypse, it would take much longer than other states to receive supplies because major roads would be blocked. Aside from air travel, getting supplies from the outside would be difficult, if not impossible. But Texas is very good at blowing things up, considering our homes quite literally are lit by explosions. But in a zombie apocalypse, Texas has one last resort: rockets. Home to not only the Houston Space Center, the SpaceX Starship could be repurposed to kill zombies. The Raptor engine has the ability to aim its exhaust not only to launch rockets into the sky, but kill hundreds of zombies in 1 second. And it could propel you away from zombies, and lots of people could fit inside a rocket. Having enough space to launch mid-sized satellites into orbit, the SpaceX Starship could provide an escape for dozens of survivors if the cabin inside were repurposed. But a zombie apocalypse is just about as likely as Texans returning to riding horses everywhere. Surprisingly, Texans could survive a nuclear World War III despite a reputation across the entire world putting a target on our back. Most land in Texas is rural, and all but 1 or 2 cities would be affected. Maybe Texas would be targeted for its oil production, which dwarfs every other state in the entire United States. But this is where Texas geography helps it once again. With friendly nations to the north and south, and the 2 largest oceans on either side, any foreign power would lack the logistics to transport a fighting force into Texas. Unless, of course, Red Dawn became real, but even then, the militia group that took on the Soviet Union is based on what would happen in real life. We own guns, and we're not afraid to use them, and we are almost as trained as Switzerland. Texans do have one of the highest rates of gun ownership in America, and almost 600,000 guns registered. That does not include any unregistered guns, which is possible because of the strong gun culture, but I'm not an expert. Even an EMP would not wipe out the internet for Texas. The SpaceX Starships that are located here could be launched into space to provide a rudimentary satellite network that would beam internet into Texas using the Starlink network. It is currently launching satellites at a rate of a few dozen per week, which could provide Texans with pinch men, no matter what. Unless the phones don't work, then we need to use the Pony Express. But the Pony Express is possible because we do have horses, we just don't ride them anymore. So is Texas prepared for an apocalypse? Like